27th of October today. It's been foggy overnight. Some would say a typical damp and dark October night we had, and an almost equally damp and dark October morning has followed. There are, however, occasional glimpses to brighten anybody's day. And this 7-spot ladybird, like the vegetation it's on and the vegetation that surrounds it, is covered, beautifully covered, with droplets of moisture left behind by the retreating fog and mist. I like ladybirds. I think everybody likes a ladybird. 7-spot ladybird is certainly a beetle that reminds me of childhood. So is the 2-spot ladybird that we have here in the UK. I think the ladybird encourages beautiful childhood memories of long summer days during the school holidays. And this one just adds a little bit of colour on a gloomy late October day. I love the way this is covered with the droplets of moisture. And there's every chance that this ladybird will stay on this old flower head for as long as it can. It may well try and retreat and tuck itself into more dense foliage as the winter goes on, and maybe the winter gets a bit colder. Winter's a long way off. Don't believe everything that the weathermen will tell you. This is only autumn. You've potentially got colder to come yet, so keep your big coats off for a bit. These beetles don't need a big coat. Sometimes it makes me wonder how they get through. 7-spot ladybirds often will pass the winter tucked in to old seed heads of thistles, but docks is a good one. They'll tuck themselves in the withered leaves of dead docks and overwinter in groups. You can get some big numbers. It was one of the pastimes that Dillis and I had over winter, was counting 7-spot ladybirds and other ladybirds that hibernated and took themselves together with 7 spots. It was a good way of keeping the invertebrate interest going 12 months of the year, 365 days. And seeing numbers of these was always heartwarming, really. You'll be surprised as to what you can find if you look for it, even in the depths of the so-called winters that we get now. You're never very far from a splash of 7-spot ladybird coloration. And they show remarkable consistency in the markings. I counted thousands and thousands of these over the years. I don't do it very often now. Maybe I should. Something to do in those shorter days and cooler days. But in that time, variation within the 7-spot ladybird has been virtually none. I can count the real, what you would class as a variant, on one hand. Probably on 2, maybe 3 fingers. I remember finding one that was almost spotless. Variation amongst 7-spot ladybird, which has the beautiful name of Coccinella septempunctata. The septempunctata bit meaning 7 spots, I believe. What a beautiful insect. And it's surprising because many people quite often don't class ladybirds as beetles. Dillis didn't at first. She thought for some reason there was something separate. And that's a viewpoint shared by many people, I think, that don't have any kind of entomological interest. But you don't have to have such an interest to appreciate ladybirds. And the seven-spot ladybird continues to do very well. And like all species, our native ladybirds and the harlequin does show annual variations. It's just a beautiful thing to brighten up any dull late October morning.